everybody. I'm having a fight with the camera stand. Well, phone stand. Can't get the camera to work with the laptop. And since I'm in my art room, I need a camera. So here I am, coming to you from my little single room art studio here in my house in Minnesota. So of course the room is kind of cramped, but yeah, we do what we do. This is the first day I'm really feeling decent. I had surgery on October 4th. We have sound and we have live chat. Woohoo! So I'm going to post it in the live chat, and I also will put it in the video description for my GoFundMe and for the eBay auction I have up that's only got 1 day left on it. But just to help with medical expenses and being able to, you know, handle housing expenses and things like that right now. It's yeah, it was October 4th, and it's been kind of up and down with pain control. It has not been fun. So let me share on Facebook really quick. Just getting started. This wasn't planned because I did not know if I was going to be doing anything today. So get all that advertising. Yeah, the hubby got me a camera set and desk lamp and stuff, and unfortunately camera doesn't work with the laptop, but the lamp does. So I have now one LED day lamp in front, and then my aunt light on the stand in the back, and fading lights. I actually need to replace light bulbs in the ceiling. It'll work much better, but right now it's doing okay. So all right, so let's go over to Google Plus, share there too. So I'm happier with the more light. It's making a huge difference. Even painting yesterday, I was like, oh, I can see. I'm being a little dramatic, but I also had to sleep with some tramadol last night, so I'm coming down off of that too. All right. And hi, Shar. Anyway, this little guy, my sister-in-law named Cypress. It seems like all of my critters have like a soft C sound for their names. We have Cecil and Cecilia, which are brother and sister. This little guy I was working on at a craft show. And because I only had like 5 kids that I was face painting on, it wasn't a huge one. The one church that my in-laws do most of the work at, having their second year of their craft show, and so my husband and I go and help out, and it's fun, but not a whole lot of children to paint on, so I sat there making stuff. And Cypress's eyes were inspired by my in-laws' English Springer Spaniel named Corwin, who gets really, really this sad look on his face especially when he thinks he's in trouble. And so I had to run with that. So we have kind of this little sad look. And he was going to be a dragon, but hubby kept saying a Kirin, so it's a Kirin. I was going to wire his front legs, but the more I thought about it, I think I'm going to just try to do a regular sculpting of them first. Part of the reason I also didn't do an awful lot of, yeah, like that, awful lot of online stuff where I had to vocalize this. Boy, my throat was sore for quite a while after they intubated me and all that stuff. That really hurt. And then they scratched my eyeball. It happens a lot with anesthesia. So for anyone who's new to needle felting, what I'm using is a merino wool. I actually get this wool from one store in Minneapolis called Depth of Field, or I get it from a seller on eBay, and their prices are pretty good, both places. And I can buy needles there too. Sometimes I just go to Michael's and buy needles as well, but these needles are quite long, and a lot of people will just use them in this form. I like the little holder because I get a little more control over it. And if I have a bad pain day with my hands, it's a lot easier for me to hang on to the needle that way. I also have a needle tool for packing in stuff really tight that has 3 needles in it, and I have another one that holds 12. These things are barbed, they're very sharp, and I always end up looking like I'm going to check my blood sugar or something. At least once with every critter I seem to make. I'm also going to put in the description post stream here the auction I have for Snaggletooth the Dragon. Only has like a day and a half left on eBay, unfortunately. And also to my GoFundMe. There's things to help me out with expenses. Right now there are no bids on Snaggletooth, and he could use a home. But he's incredibly cute, and he's made with the same techniques that Cypress here is being made with. My long-term goal for these little guys is to eventually have a display of all my needle felted figures. This including the trolls that I make, dragons, now Kirin, anything from my cottage garden. I'm working on a children's book series as well, and these are creatures that I find in my garden. So I want to do a display that I'm going to have to handcraft the whole display with lights and mosses and everything else to be able to display all my figures at craft shows. So I'm hoping things go quite well. I should have displayed this on mines too. Bugger. I wasn't thinking. Going sans jewelry today too. I haven't been wearing much more than the wedding ring right now. Not feeling all that fabulous right now. Let's see if I can hop over to mines and log in. Well, typing.com might be a good idea. I could probably do that. Spelling, it's that important. Oh, what was my username? Now, if I can't spell my own name, I'm going to have a problem. Oh, never mind. I forgot what my login stuff is. Oh, I'm not going through that again. All right, so let's try. Good grief. Hey, I'm on MeWe. Woohoo. All right, so all right, no. Okay. I hate this part because I have to do this during the live stream and it's just kind of really, really inconvenient. Okay. And this is so inconvenient. I am really, really sad that Google Plus is going away. You know, to just have another community disappear. All right, and over to Great Debate Community. If I can find it. Boy, I had a lot of communities on here. Here we go. And one more. Let's go to let's go there. And then I'll share the finished video later. Counts as a live stream. Okay, guys. There we are. Hey, Paranor. Hi, Drag. I want to do Toothless too. I love Toothless. Thank you, Paranor. Yeah, it's trying to get myself back into action here. Let's see, how long is the solid part gonna be? About like that. That actually is perfect. I'll go a little bit more. Just doing the base. I twist it up a little bit because it just helps me keep the shape while I lock the fibers together. I'm going to do some more playing in Mabinogi later. I have some Halloween quests to finish. We'll see how much energy I have for Minecraft later, or if I'm going to paint or just go back to bed. I don't know yet. That's the other stress we have right now is an extremely sick cat. she's not doing very well. Lamina. We brought her in thinking she had a sinus infection, even though she wasn't having any boogers or anything come out. Here's a clump of the wool that I used, by the way. That's a big clump. Anyway, they didn't find anything respiratory, but they found this huge mass, and it's kind of running along her abdomen. And so there's an ultrasound Tuesday to see if it's something that has metastasized or not. I'm kind of afraid it's spread into her lungs. I don't know. We'll find out, but just hasn't been a very good week. And of course they only gave me a week's worth. I was supposed to take tramadol every 6 hours, so they only gave me a week's worth of tramadol. And now I'm on ibuprofen and Tylenol only. So when I try to sleep at night, the pain gets worse because I'm not moving around. And then I can't sleep, so I had tramadol set aside for emergency purposes that my doctor was giving me, and so I've had to bust into that. And so yeah, pain control's not doing good. It's just been stressful all the way around. Hubby's been having a lot of pain from the MS, so that's been an issue. Okay. All right, a little bit of black. Do I want to use black on his hooves? Should you go back with that brown? I can find it. Oh, except that stuff is so soft. It's probably not going to sculpt as tight as I want it. Not for such a small spot. Here we go. That's a good brown too. Here's another clump. This is another one that I got from the yarn store. It all comes in this huge braided mass. And those yarns are hand painted, so the colors are very random, and I just love working with these. Yeah, there we go. Kind of matches his horns a little bit. I could go with a dark green for his feet, but that's okay. Don't think I will. But little guy's gotta have hooves. The fun part's going to be splitting these hooves. Boy, I am really happy with this light, and it's making such a difference. I just wish the laptop would run the camera. So again, a warning I usually give: if my phone rings, it's going to kick me out. What we're going to do is, we're doing time payments on hubby's computer right now. And then we're going to eventually get me a second one, and then my current tower is going to go in my art room, so I have a better live stream experience in here. I want to cover the end of that foot. And yes, I know I'm not wearing finger guards, but I have been finding that they just get in the way. And they really don't help if I jab the needle in far enough. They don't protect me much. So it's like, what is the point? And I'm still at 215 pounds. I have now kept 35 pounds down. Lost 35 since January of 2017. I've been able to keep it off so far. And unfortunately, the hard part is just all I can do for exercise is pretty much walk around the house. I'd like to go outside and walk, but it's getting colder and I live in a really terrible neighborhood. Like really terrible. Lots of shootings and robberies and crap like that. Oh, I gotta be careful here. Trying to shape his toes right now. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Try not to make this look like a piece of male anatomy and make it look like toes. 3BH Hangout. I don't know what you mean. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, that had me confused. Yes, that's the other thing is that, oh, that'd be cool. I've never watched one of those yet. Sorry, Drag. I'm bad. There is going to be a fundraiser to help with some of my expenses. October 26th, 27th, and 28th. I believe all 3 days, right, Shar? I will be doing a hangout with RSC on the 27th, it's Saturday. And I don't know what's planned yet. I'm assuming we're probably going to be talking about medical stuff and just having some fun, so hey. But it's going to be my first time trying to host something and I have no clue what I'm doing. But we will be doing the hosting on my tower system and not on this laptop. Avoid crashes. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till closer to the date to set up more auction items. If I don't get any interest by tomorrow afternoon on Snaggletooth, then I'm gonna pull that auction down. Yeah, I think the best thing is to try and test and see how my tower takes it with the new camera I've got and everything. And I have a stand mic now too, so my sound should be a lot better. Hubby found a decent set on sale, but his old computer's pretty terrible. Oh, let's angle the phone because I'm going off screen there. There. I'm just happy I felt like sculpting tonight. It's been a while. Although I did make some spiders for jewelry this morning with beads and wire. And then I go off camera again. What was the point to that? Now I'm trying to do the frog in the bottom of his foot. It's one of my favorite arguments with people I've had this argument with G-Man too, that a word doesn't necessarily mean the same thing across uses and across professions. Like the word frog, for example, you know, he's always saying, oh, it's just a theory, evolution's just a theory, and it's a guess, and it's like, no, that's not the same thing. Well, frog is a great example of that, because on a horse or a hoofed animal, it's going to be the soft part right in the hoof here. And it's a very soft cushion. So it's been called a frog for years. Well, then you have frog being named for, I think there's also a part in archery, I can't remember what it was called, what part was called a frog. Violin playing, for sure, it's the part that you hang on to on the bow is the frog. And then you have Frenchman being called a frog, and then you have the amphibian. So does one invalidate the other? No. You can have one word mean a lot of different things in different areas of life, you know, let alone science. Okay, let's give his toe a little bit more shape here. And since Cypress hangs around in the garden and in among the green and the dirt and everything else, I decided to do the cleft in a dark green on his foot. Hi, gray goat. Yeah, I think the Wednesday prior would be great. Well, Gray Goat, you are in my art studio right now, and you're watching me sculpt the legs for little Cypress the Kirin here. And his eyes are inspired by a very sad, I got in trouble, English Springer Spaniel by the name of Corwin. Yes, usually there be dragons. So Gray Goat, right now I am sculpting the foot for Cypress the Kirin. And I'm doing it with very, very sharp needles and wool. And I decided not to wire this little guy. My larger sculptures, I do a wire armature, and then I wrap that with wool yarn, handmade wool yarn. I found a really good one that's super strong and super soft at the same time. And then I take the wool and stab it, the soft fluffy wool like this, and stab it right into the base. But this little guy's not getting wired. So I'm just using the needle to do the work. It's a barbed needle, and the barbs, if you look under a microscope with any animal hair, this includes human hair, you see where it looks like little scales in the keratin fibers. These barbed needles will actually lock those scales together to form shapes, and like I said, this can be done with any animal hair. It cannot be done with plant fibers. So it's very hard to say that any of these art pieces are vegan, because they're not. If you have those true vegans that think that, you know, getting wool from an animal is wrong too, even though sheep have to be sheared and stuff like that, otherwise they get infections and stuff like that, you know, and they're in pain. But no, there are some people out there who don't have an understanding of farm animals, but that's okay. So it's not a vegan craft by any means. So right now what I'm trying to form is this fetlock. That's a little bone ankle here that is just above the foot. This leg is going to be, I think I'm going to have this one be the one that's up? Yeah, I should have this one. Well, this one's laying flat more, so let's see. Yeah, if I do this one as the flat laying one. Yeah, okay. The other one I'm gonna have to work on bending up. The eyes, you're not gonna believe this, Shar. I'm a total cheapskate. I'm terrible. I found packages of cabochons on eBay that I got 200 cabochons for $9.95, something like that. I ordered 2 packs. So in each single pack, nothing matched, but they do a random batch in each pack and they match between the packs. So I wanted something that just looked very flowery and pretty, and it was cheap and they're glass. And I was like, I can't go wrong with this. And they're the perfect size. I was just so excited. It's like I like to make things with bottle caps, I find, and I tear apart watches too. I'll take apart watches and use the parts in jewelry and stuff. For a while I was combining watch parts with ammonite fossils, and my preferred glue is E6000 for that kind of work. The problem I discovered is E6000 over a few years cures so tight it actually, the one necklace I made, I was going to sell, I took it out of the box. After 3 years, it had cracked apart the ammonite completely. And really pretty steampunk necklace, and I was just really upset with it. So it's one of my personal pieces now. But I had made a neck posture collar for my daughter too. That was steampunk, so I did it out of saddle leather, and then I had done the same technique with the ammonite shell and watch parts and metal filigree and stuff, and on a goat hide centerpiece. And she hasn't taken it out of the box for a while, and I'm hoping that hers didn't do what mine did. She wanted one of those collar pieces when she was 14. And when you're into goth stuff, and Mom makes goth stuff and steampunk, it's too fun. Okay, so that actually, let's see, let's make it a little thinner here. I want him to look more delicate, and this is the hard part. There's going to be enough stiffening done by the process to stiffen up the legs, but I want it, you know, it's still got to look delicate, but it's still got to support him too. Oh, that's getting better. So if you can see it, the bottom of his foot, I'm getting that bend in the ankle right there. So there are some similarities between ruminants on their bone structure, because a horse used to have 5 toes at one point. So they still have some similarities between them and deer and stuff like that in how their legs are formed. And I'm going to try to flatten this out a little bit on the top here too, and then we're going to move further up the leg. All right, a little bit more indentation here. I found out something incredibly creepy. I should say hubby found out something. Ooh, neat. Yeah, I gotta see those pictures. I have to see those. Anyway, I found some disturbing facts about sheep and Bambi and things like that. It turns out that if you don't and deer. Yeah, well, Bambi was a deer. Duh. Anyway, it turns out that if you don't have mineral blocks out for them, they will go and kill. Actually, they find baby bird nests and they eat the baby birds to get the minerals from the flesh and the bones, even though they can't digest the flesh. So you think about Bambi and all his little bird woodland friends. Bambi suddenly becomes a little bit more frightening than previously thought. I'm like, gee, hubby, thank you for pointing that out, because now that just disturbed my childhood. I figured he needed a darker area on his toes, on the bottoms. Well, it turns out horses will do the same thing, and so will cows. So anyone who tries to say that these animals are fully herbivores, they're really not. Oh dear. Oh yeah, or Snow White. Ugh. Oh yeah, and here there's entire groups still trying to get at that the wolves are hunted and killed, except that they need them to control the starvation on the deer populations. We can't seem to find a point of balance. We've kind of just messed that up so bad. I'm being very delicate with the stabbing here so that I don't go all the way through. If I do wings, sometimes I'll do that. I'll stab all the way through on the fabric and get the fluff on the other side and then trim it just to get the colors a little bit more muted. But in this case, I don't want that to go all the way through the hoof. This can almost be meditative for me. I very much enjoy doing this. I love doing the lost wax technique, and sculpting in bronze is amazing, but this is so much more portable. And people are so much freer to touch, you know, to touch something that's super soft and they want to touch it, you know, and they want to interact with it, where a bronze statue, you know, it's a bronze statue. Let me see if I can move this a little bit. There we go. Oh, it was just amazing because I had signs out at my craft table that the dragons love to be petted. Just, you know, wipe your hands first. And people were holding up their children to pet the dragons on the stand at Pagan Pride. And so many people were photographing the dragons, and it was too much fun. And I know there's a lot of artists that get really hanky about you coming and photographing their work in their booth. But this just brings me so much joy. And I think in part because I'm a kid myself. I mean, I have a big dollhouse in here now displaying my My Little Ponies. I mean, I'm a kid. But it's such a happy thing. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my Fresca there. All right. So now, I'm not going to do any more right there. I think that's gonna work. Oh, I need a little bit more dark green right there. Okay. Where is it? I might have to do a little bit more black in the lines of the frog there, I think. It's blending together a little too much. Yeah, Snaggletooth, the one that I've got on eBay, only took about 10 hours. I think Cypress is going to take a bit more because it's just a different critter. And I want to be a little more on the precise side. With how they looked in fantasy lore. Not too much though, because, well, it's my critter, you know. Okay, oh, that's looking better. Let's throw a little black on that one spot. I'll find my black wool. There it is. Yeah, and isn't it funny, Farrah, how much work goes into one foot? I mean, I love to paint too, but this just makes, this is a happy thing. I mean, I'm terrible. I absolutely love to come up and touch things. We have this art museum in Minneapolis that we went in college art class. It was supposed to be art appreciation, and found out I do not appreciate neoclassical art. But they had this beautiful bronze of this prowling panther, and I set off the alarms because I had to touch it. It was really embarrassing. But it was just, the statue was so realistic and so smooth and just, and I had to. I only got in trouble with the art teacher for that one. Security thought that was funny, but that was like my second year in college. I was really bad. And they forced me to take art appreciation, even though I had, by this point, 3 semesters of sculpture and metal casting, working in just bronze, and I was on independent study at that point. And for the nursing degree, they're like, well, you have to have art appreciation. And it's like, well, I've had all these art classes, why do I need this? No, this is the requirement, the other ones don't qualify. And I'm like, are you guys nuts? You just want me to spend more money on this? And so yeah, it was one of those classes. It's like, why am I paying for this? Got an A in it. It was an easy A. And my final paper was titled "A Cowboy Artist's Appreciation of Neoclassical Art," and I think I still have it somewhere. Hi, sweetie. I saw you're watching. Well, then the fun one was being in Mrs. Pillsbury's house with an ex-boyfriend. And, you know, his dad worked there as the butler. And so Mrs. Pillsbury takes us into her green room, which, you know, it had all these fancy green wallpapers and gold things in there, and this big iron thing in the middle of the room. I still have no clue what it was. She imported it from France, including importing the walls, the panels, and everything from France. She didn't know what this thing was, but it was a thing. And so I actually talked about that in my art appreciation paper. That, yeah, it was a big bronze thing. It was a thing. And my teacher made me, my college teacher made me read this aloud in class. And I had the other students just laughing because I came from studying Orrin Mixer and other cowboy artists, and this whole thing about neoclassical art just confused the daylights out of me. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. Some of it's pretty bad. Okay, this one I'm going to have to wrap a few times. Did I freeze? Ah, crap. There's nothing going through. Come on.
Your audio is on, but the video froze.
Oh. Great. I guess my audio's on and the video's frozen. Thanks, Paranor. Oh, why did it do this? It's plugged in. My phone's never done this before. Okay. Yay! Woohoo! Can you guys see my hand? Wiggle it just a little bit. Okay. Do you want to build a snowman? No, not in Minnesota, please. God, no. I wonder what brought that on. I am She-Ra, the original, not this new one they're coming up with. She-Ra and Wonder Woman were my only princesses. Of course, I didn't have the most super exposure to Disney growing up either. Much to my husband's chagrin. Yeah, we had snow this morning, Paranor. And then it went away. I did videotape it, though. Oh, dear. Hubby's singing Poor Unfortunate Souls. Although he's got a good voice, so I can't complain. Theater geek. Got me some theater geek. Just doing the basics right now, trying to stiffen this all up. Stop going off the camera. This iPhone does pretty decent with the camera for streaming. It's not bad. Unless I get a phone call. Okay. Let's see. All right. Yeah. I think that's looking about right. Oops, other direction. That's looking about right for that one. So the knee actually needs to be right there. That's been the trick over the years, is trying to teach myself to eyeball proportions. Well, he's going to have a little bit of an upward bend there. Okay, so flatten the sides of the leg. Get that indentation in the side. Ah! Oh, no blood. Okay. No, I'm still watching the, I'm still on William Hartnell. I'm gonna go all the way through from the very, very beginning. And I'm enjoying it. I've actually been thinking that William Hartnell was probably the first doctor I did see when I was 8. We were in this really old farmhouse, and my mom would have it on at night, and I was supposed to be in bed, but I'd be sitting up at the top of the stairs and peer down and watch it on the old black and white. And I do think that he was the first doctor I was watching. But I got really hooked on Tom Baker. I must like my men weird, because I thought Tom Baker was cute. I really did. Even with his big nose and his wild hair and some of his mannerisms and stuff, I thought I had kind of a crush on him. That's frightening. Patrick was awesome. But I really enjoy, I enjoy Hartnell too. He was really good. But yeah, this is the first time I'm actually admitting that I had a crush on Tom Baker. I know at some point this is going to mean I have to go through and watch the episodes with the guy who was after Tom Baker, who had kind of the really clown-looking suit on. I wasn't a fan of him. Oh, who didn't have a crush on Sarah Jane? Sarah Jane was pretty awesome. I liked Leela too. She was pretty cool. Tom Baker did? Or Peter Davidson? I thought it was Peter Davidson did All Creatures Great and Small. Oh my God. Well, I can't say much. I've had my arm up the bum of a horse. I had to stand on a stool to do that, but yeah, I've been there. So yeah, I'm getting some shape there on the leg. You can see the indentation in the sides. Yeah, Peter Davidson wasn't my favorite doctor. Oh, Eccleston, yeah, I loved how he did the doctor. He was just so intense. I think he's my favorite modern doctor. There we go. Oh, I'm liking that. Let's thin this down a little bit. Oh, that's from earlier today. I got it caught on something. It's not bleeding anymore. It's just there. I probably should have put a Band-Aid on it. Oh, Rose, yeah. I had to stop watching Doctor Who for a while after Rose left. That really upset me. I thought the combination of her and the Doctor, that just really, really got me. But it's the same thing with Sansa getting raped in Game of Thrones. I stopped watching Game of Thrones for a while till I got to where I could handle it, and then I went back and rewatched that entire season. And it did kind of trigger me a bit, and I'm like, and for a real trigger too, because that's stuff I've been through and I'm open about that. But it just was really, really hard for me to process for a while. So I spent about a half a year not watching Game of Thrones, and I went back, and now I'm doing the same thing with Doctor Who. Is Rose leaving upset me so much. And then it was like the next companion seemed like somebody that was kind of fly by night, and I was like, what are they doing to the Doctor? And I was just angry. So I've gotten over it. But I think that's what adults do. You can go and try to process something and then go back. Yeah, I think the thing with Sansa was, because even though she was a twit, she didn't deserve Ramsay Bolton. Nobody deserved Ramsay Bolton. And that was so hard. And I mean, I do understand that there were a lot of women in those kind of situations, but it was it was way too real, I think. Although she's kind of become more like her mother from it, I think. Which isn't a bad thing. Because Winterfell needed Catelyn Stark back. And the only way it could get it is one of the daughters, basically. But we'll see what the last season brings. Oh, that's good and stiff. All right, let's blend some of these colors down a little bit. So right now it looks kind of silly having the knee be a ring around the joint. There's kind of stupid looking. I'd love to try and sculpt a mermaid or something too. I think that'd be fun. Well, especially since George R.R. Martin took the Red Wedding from a real event. You know, it was kind of expected. And it was a shock though, but yeah, you're right though. What happened to Sansa is a very real, relatable thing that people now still go through. And I think that's what made it harder. There we go. Got the base color in, but it's looking now more like the fur is actually laying the correct direction. Here, straighten that leg back out. That's the only problem is if once you get it starting to harden right here, any little bit of work you do on it bends it that direction and got to go back and fix it. Okay, a little bit more blending on this side. I like the realism in fantasy. That's why hubby, I think, has been a great DM, and I've gamed with people. My one ex-boyfriend was judge at Gen Con, so very good DM, but hubby added this sense of drama and realism to it. It wasn't always hack and slash. It just made it so much more fun, I think. Even though there was a lot of times gaming that all of us players were in tears and stuff like that, but it was just, it was so much more intriguing having that bit of reality in there. And even when we role-played on Neverwinter Nights, too, that was something that we tried to bring about in our world building and our DMing there, too, was to have that sense of realism. And there were some people that didn't like it, you know, they wanted their character to be the center of everything and stuff like that. But just was so much nicer. I think actually that still looks like that's unfinished. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the nice thing about Game of Thrones, too, is you get involved in the characters' stories, and it's not the setting that overtakes you. And not everybody is the hero. That's the thing that kind of gets me now that I've grown older, is when you have players that their character has to be the hero in the center of everything, and it's like, no, not everybody is the hero. Some people are going to fail at their tasks. Some people are going to fail as human beings, you know. And the world is an interesting place because of that. Not that hack and slash isn't fun, but I prefer to have a little bit more realism where you feel for the characters and you're invested in the characters and not invested in the stats. There we go. A little bit more. I might put a couple lines in there just to get the definition a little bit more. Yeah, Walking Dead isn't too bad. Although they keep doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, I like Loki. I like Thanos. I cried when Loki died. Too dark. Now that was too dark. Oh, not that. I was talking about the wool I was using. Sorry, hubby and I are talking across the room. Plus, he's in the live chat, so... There we go. That just needed a little bit more visible definition right there. And the other side. Yeah. Oh, sorry about the spoilers, anyone who watches this later. Spoilers on a lot of stuff tonight. Plunk this back in the live chat. Nope, not plunk that. Whoops, we are watching that. Wrong thingy. Where's the delete key? Oh, right there. Giggle it up over there. I heard that. No. No. Not freezing. Okay. trying to get these as delicate looking as possible. That's not an easy task. There. I think I got it. You want some legs? Shall we give you some legs? What do you think? Try not to squish his face. So what I did is I just folded over some of the long wool I had at the end. And I'm just starting to lock everything together, and then I'll build the joint a lot more for the shoulder with some more wool. This is just trying to get the base leg in there. And at this stage, if I don't like the length, I can still move it. But I think that's fine. Let's actually pull him forward just a little bit more. There. Make sure I get the foot downward. I'd actually thought about, I would just do him as little forest colored deer, and his hubby's like, no, it's a Kirin, it's a Kirin. Like, hey, yeah, that works. So let's do a little white first to build up the shoulder. Yeah. I'm not going to repeat any of that stuff out loud. Not that I'm monetized anyway, but that's right, I don't have enough subs to be monetized. Oh, I see where I missed a little green right in here. I'm going to have to fix that later. And still do the line under his jaw on that side. It's a lot of work to go yet. Oh, well, they can go go fish. I'll be nice. I'm of the philosophy that not everybody's going to get along, and too bad. I have friends from all sorts of walks of life, which is something that some certain person in Kentucky doesn't seem to understand. So therefore, I cursed him. Yes, yes, Space Marine Vampire Punisher. Sorcerer Supreme. Burrito Supreme. He wants to control his friends. So, yeah, I'm not into that. Been there, done that. And the difference is I'm not married to the Kentucky vampire, so yeah. And now his gods are destroying Google Plus. That's why Google Plus is dying, is because Von Helton got offended or something. Oh my goodness. Getting his leg locked into place. Yay! You would be amazed at how many people will sit there, and I've had this happen where they've tried to pull apart things at the craft table, at the sale table. I had that some teenager doing that with rainbow loom bracelets that I had made. She was trying to break them. And it's like, well, you not do that. And they'll take these sculptures and they'll try to pull the limbs off. And you say they don't move, and they'll still try it even after you tell them they are not supposed to move. Well, you boys have it all wrong. It's supposed to be a +3 halibut. Hand a valley gnome a wand of wonder and see what happens to your barbarian's halberd. Was actually in a real gaming incidence of that. The poor DM, I thought he was going to pass out on the floor laughing. Let's see, do you need yeah, you need a little bit more build up right there. I want to lock this in pretty securely, but it's fighting me. Leg's still in the right direction, though. Sometimes I'll accidentally knock the leg position out of place, and then I have to kind of twist it and felt some more, and still might happen with this one. There we go. Now I'm getting it. Much better. Well, yeah, he is long-legged.
It's a ghosty and ghouly and long-legged beastie.
But you think his body's not short, so the leg's in good proportion. Oh, okay.
Scottish saying, ghosties and ghoulies and long-legged beasties that walk the night.
Well, I think he sorry, the hubby said old Scottish saying, ghosties and ghoulies and long-legged beasties that walk the night. The only thing is this long-legged beastie would probably be hiding someplace. Sometimes I forget that I married a guy who knows a bit of Gaelic, and when we used to do the historical rendezvous in the one town that we went to, he'd play a Scotsman. So every craft that was for sale there, anything had to be at least 100 years old. Well, chainmail's a lot older than that, but of course it went from being armor to jewelry. So we still fit in, even though we pissed off some of the purists, but, you know, whatever. But hubby would play the Scotsman. There we go. Yay! I'd like to get him done before the fundraiser. But if I don't, I'll have to sell him next year at the farmer's market or something. Which means I will probably either be doing lots of live streams just sitting here working on him, or have to do off-camera work. We'll see. But he's coming out so cute. I can't believe this was inspired by a Springer Spaniel. My son calls Corwin a wuss dog. He loves people. He just adores people, and he gets too excited and piddles on shoes while you're petting him. So I have to do this dance around this dog when I'm trying to pet him. Just funny. He's such a sweet thing, but his sense of bladder control when he's being petted is just absolutely terrible. There. There we go. Getting it. Woohoo! Oh, nice. That's anchored in there really well. I got a couple white spots I'm going to have to fix here. I got his leg in the right angle, locked in just beautifully there. Ah. No blood. There. Oh, and Sweetie Shar was on earlier and she said this lighting looks a lot better. So the lamp you got me is working perfectly. Combined with the OT bulb behind the computer, and still have to fix the ceiling bulbs, but this lamp here on the side really made a difference. Hi, Shar. Again. He's got a leg, Shar. I'm so happy. He's coming out so cute. You can't handle the cute. Like I said, I get a lot of joy out of making these, and I was surprised. My mother liked Cecil the Dragon, but when I showed up with Cecilia, it freaked her out. Night, Paranor. But when I brought the bigger dragon out to see my mom, it actually freaked her out. And then when I brought Cecil into the yarn store, I did not know that the lady who works there or owns the place is afraid of lizards. So she absolutely was creeped out by the musculature and things that I had done on the dragon, that she thought it was too realistic. And I kind of felt a little bad, but it's just, you know, it's so interesting to see people respond. I got a little bit of white right here I'm going to have to fix. Lighting's starting to get bad in the room. There we go. And thank you, Shar. I'm so happy with his face. So cute. Which reminds me, I need to do something. All right. There we go. Been wanting to do that for a while. Only have certain people who are moderators on my channel. What time is it? Oh, wow. Yeah, let's finish this little piece of the chin up because that's driving me crazy. This face on this little guy was so inspired. I'm enjoying the expressions I'm getting on these creatures. Snaggletooth is packed away in a box right now. I have to get him out, but he's got this sad, sad look on his face. It's just so cute. And he's holding the little flower, and it's like he's trying to say, I'm sorry. What's hilarious is the pictures on the eBay auction we took in the church. So I had him in front of a stained glass window and was photographing dragons inside a Methodist church. It was funny. I'm a sick puppy. Okay, a little bit more darker green. I want to fix this face tonight. I want to at least get this taken care of here. That's going to just drive me nuts. Yeah, sure. I'm going to try and see if I can get him finished before the fundraiser. Okay. I think I'm going to call it for tonight because I'm starting to get uncomfortable in the chair here. So thank you to anyone and everyone who's been watching. And let's see if I can zoom out. Nope. But there is Cypress the Kirin. Just needs 3 more legs and working on his tail. And then figure out what I'm doing with him beyond that. Because I think he needs a bed to lay on and just, yeah. We'll see how much I get done. All right, so thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to take a look at the GoFundMe and share it around if you can't donate. And also, like I said, in the description, I will put also the eBay auction for Snaggletooth the dragon. So, hope you guys have a great night. Bye everybody, blessed be. How do I stop this crazy thing?